produce videos. Everyone experiences hardship in their life, but some people stay stuck as a victim and some people become the victor. So what's happening inside someone's life? What's happening inside someone's mind that makes someone go from surviving to thriving? Well, if you want to know the answers to these questions, then this show is for you, because our guest is Howie Samuelson, and he's been producing outstanding television for over 50 years. He's also been blind 3 times, and he's a very good and old friend of mine. Howie Samuelson, I am honored that you are joining us to share your story. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Randy, and you're the perfect person to be doing this interview. So, thank you.
Cool. Yes, I love that you're here and you're going to share your journey, because people need to hear your story and what they can do for their next level of success and your next level of success, which is definitely something to do with video. So you guys, if you're new to the show or you're old to the show, I want to welcome all of you. Welcome to my show. Welcome to the Randi Light Experience. And you might be wondering who I am, what's going to happen today. So I am from Enlightened Living Hypnosis. My name is Randi Light, and I'm a peak performance coach. I'm a hypnosis instructor and healer. And for the past 11 years, I've hypnotized thousands of children to break through whatever is in their way so they could be their best version of themselves. So I'm also, this is called the Randi Light Experience, because I believe that providing you with an experience will help you incorporate the things that you learn during the show for your highest good. I also have a deep passion to raise the consciousness of humanity and move us all forward into love. And so that is part of why I do this today. So if you are here and we want to know you're here, it's really important that you say hello. Send some of those bubbles across the screen, those love bubbles. We want to know that you're here. Say something, say hello, say your name. And if you know other people who need to hear this too, let them know. You can just type in their name and stuff like that. So spread this word, because this is going to be a great interview. Howie has turned lemons into the most powerful lemonade. So you guys, comment, say hello, let us know. We've already got Liz. Hi, Liz. Welcome to the show. And Amy, hi, welcome. And Robin, hi, yay. And Donovan, hello. She says hello. All you guys, here we are. So thank you for sharing that. We've got lots of comments, lots of fun to give you guys. And hi from Robin too. All right, Howie, I don't even exactly know where to begin, but where are you right now? You look like you're in a studio.
I'm actually in the lower level of my house, and this is the studio that I produced 110 shows for the Earth Network that broadcast from 1995 through from 1990 through 1995. And this is some of the old equipment we used to use, which is tape decks. Some young people don't know what I'm talking about, tape decks. And we still use computers, which is all around me. And it feels good to be back here. I'm sitting in the same chair that I interviewed David Brower, and other people in the environmental movement. So this feels very comfortable and a fitting place to be talking to you about this.
Right. I mean, that I remember, which is so funny, that you were trying to interview me for the Earth Network. I was big into recycling and had a master's degree in environmental education. And you wanted me to talk into the camera and talk about recycling, and I could not do it.
Yeah, I mean, changed, huh?
Things have changed, and here I am doing the show. But this show is not about me. This show is, I want you to share. You have been through so much in your life, and you know, just even getting this set up with the way your eyesight is right now, you have to rely on other people. And I know personally my journey that was a hard lesson for me when I got injured in my 20s, to have to ask people to help me. And you do whatever it takes. You have some tools inside you. You have some powers inside you that I want you to share with us today, so that people can do what they need to do no matter what kind of adversity. But I think we need to, go back in time to when everything started to change for you, when you got your illness and stuff.
Okay, we can jump into that. I had a great growing up life in the north side of Chicago. I had a great marriage. I married my high school sweetheart. I did everything that everyone is supposed to do to have a beautiful life. I was electronics whiz when I was a kid, and my father sold televisions. So I was always playing with every gadget there ever was invented in television. So it led me to college, where I suddenly switched from my life as a psychologist.
Oh my goodness, Howie froze. He promised me this wouldn't happen. So he will be back shortly. Hopefully you can still, okay, he's back. Okay, you froze, Howie. You're back.
Well, that happens.
All
So
right.
I got turned on by Buckminster Fuller, who was a professor at SIU where I went to college. And I took his courses immediately and became a television student because I met him in a TV studio at SIU. And I learned about the environment, and I learned about how fragile it is, and I learned about our responsibility. So my first opportunity when I got back to Chicago was going to work for WCIU, Channel 26 in Chicago, which you guys call the U. And actually, I was the first cameraman for the first show of Soul Train. So I go way back into that era of live television, which is what we're doing now, which fascinates me that we're on live television.
Oh my goodness, Soul Train. I think one of my good friends who people may know learned how to dance, he says, through Soul Train, and he's a great dancer. But then you started the underground news, the underground. I mean, that was incredible.
Another opportunity. There was an opportunity. So I graduate college. I come back to Chicago. It's 1970, and there's a brand new station on the air, WSNS TV, Channel 44. I joined them on the third day that they were on the air. And within 3 days, since I'd worked at several TV stations, I was made boss of the crew. So after 6 months at the John Hancock building, we built studios in Lincoln Park. And I started my underground news show as a kind of a printed news show, which was the format of those days. And it was the reverse of mainstream news. Instead of the body counts from Vietnam, it was the truth about Vietnam. And that kind of disturbed people. And by the time we went live in November of 1970 with my then partner, Chuck Collins, who hosted the show, we attracted the attention of the FBI. So here we are with a show that has Jane Fonda on it, Woody Allen, John Lennon, Joan Baez,
Grateful Dead.
Everybody who mainstream didn't want on television. Everybody that Nixon's administration did not want to have a voice. And we put them on just freely, freaking out the government. So it didn't surprise us too much that while we were syndicating across the country, suddenly our partners bankrupted us. And soon after, we found our spy files and found that we were in every spy file in America. And we were infiltrated, we were surveilled, and this was through the FBI and the Chicago Police Department's notorious Red Squad.
So how this
you were Franklin's murder of the Black Panthers.
Pardon me, I didn't hear that.
They were involved in the murder of Fred Hampton and Mark Clark of the Black Panthers. So we were in some really muddy, murky stuff. So when we got knocked off the air, it didn't surprise us too much. This is my partner, Chuck Collins, and I, that other TV stations didn't want me. They took Chuck Collins in to Channel 11 and then eventually NBC and then eventually NBC Network, but they told him, your radical partner, Howie, can't come. So I went into the commercial business because I knew how to do it, and I ended up making a lot of money. I was making $1,000 a day making TV commercials all over Chicago.
And that was a while ago. And you were
early 70s, mid 70s.
But how you're healthy this whole time, correct?
Perfectly, the American dream. I'm making money. I'm in the suburbs. I'm driving a Porsche. I'm having a great life, but I still have hair down to my ass, and I'm still as radical as I ever was. It's just that the advertising business didn't mind that I was radical because I was making them commercials that worked. So all this led me to a paint room in 1978 in a factory I was shooting in. And I got an instant headache from the paint room, and it didn't go away. And that led to a catastrophic illness. And I won't describe the illness because it's too much for everybody to hear. But catastrophic gives you the idea. I was sick for a good 30 days. And when I mean sick, we mean maximum, like all the way, beyond intensive care. And the miracle, that was my first miracle, is I floated out of my body. It must have been about day 4. And I floated out of my body, and I described it to my then wife. and told her what was happening and said, I'm okay. I'm just on the ceiling and I'm going through the wall. And I described everything that was going on until I left the building and described an ambulance in the driveway. And from that point on, I pretty much stayed out of my body for most of the next 30 days while it healed. And everything was going great until toward the end of that, when I surprised everybody by having a cardiac arrest and dying. Luckily, there were two people in the room, and we did the code blue and the intensive care and the emergency surgery, and I pretty much walked out of the hospital.
And your sight was still fine at then? I know I could talk about 10 million things that you just said, but I want to get to the sight, and I want to get to like how you adjusted to your new life. So did you move there being able to see?
I lost vision immediately. So that was what I call my first blindness. Legally blind is the term. So I no longer could see detail. I no longer could focus a camera. I could see the images. I could see the context. I could direct. I could do what I needed to do, but I couldn't do everything myself anymore. So that was the first time that I needed people. Now, I'd always had crews before at Channel 44, and I'd been part of the crew at other TV stations, but now I needed a crew to fill in what I was missing. So I started bringing in apprentices, and I trained my apprentices, and they did what I couldn't do. And this worked fairly well until my apprentices grew up and started their own businesses. So
okay, hold on. So okay, the part. So you could call me a mindset coach. You know, as a hypnotist, I want to you're just talking like, oh, no big deal. I was in a thing for 30 days. I get that it was a long time ago, but the thing is that you did something at that moment. Do you think it was because you were out of your body and you experienced that, and you experienced the near-death experience, that you're like, okay, I'm back here, I'm here to serve? I mean, what made you be able to be, many people would have gone through a depression, would have gotten upset, like blamed themselves, blamed God, whatever it is, and gone into this whole thing, like how they would have sat there and asked themselves negative questions like, how can I continue? But you just glossed over it because there's something about you that I want to share with the world to bring that out in people. What happened? What did you say in your mind that made you be like, all right, I'm going to do this?
I will admit, I did the why me for a year. I did that. I did the why me. I did the tragedy part, and I did the loss part, and it wasn't getting me anywhere. I still had projects that were in the midst of being completed, and I still had people working on them and people expecting me to deliver. So I continued to work for those 2 years of recovery, and it did freak me out. And of course, the idea of the director losing his sight is, like a dancer losing his legs and a musician losing his hearing. It was very typical like that. But when it's you and it's real, it's every day, it's every minute. So I'm a practical person. I'm a person who has dreams, and my dreams are my goals. So that never went away. But one significant thing did happen, and you were alluding to it a minute ago. There was a big change in me. Before my illness, I was the kind of scientific-minded person who believed nothing unless I can prove it. But after going through the illness and the death experience and the loss, I came out believing everything unless I could believe it wasn't true. I could prove it wasn't true. So my attitude completely flipped. My polarity flipped. And I now said, there's got to be a reason for this. There's got to be a benefit to this. And I just stuck to that goal. That there's a reason for this, and I got to find out what it is. So I investigated it, and I'm still investigating it, and I'm still discovering what this all means, what eyesight is, what vision is, and how much we depend on it. And of course, my hearing did not improve like everyone says it's going to improve. You don't hear more, you listen more, you think more, you become intuitive more. So I would have to tell you that the next phase of my life was magic. Okay, you'll like that, right? It was magic. I needed things, so I learned to ask for them, and that's not easy for someone like me who does everything on his own. So I started asking for things, and they started showing up, and I started volunteering. I started offering. Instead of taking, I started giving. So I made a thing with WXRT and invited everybody to meet me in Lincoln Park, and I bring my cameras and I teach them what public access was going to be when they finally came to Chicago. And then public access did come to Chicago, and I organized a group of people in my area here. We produced a weekly television show. So all of this was my way of being who I am, and then finding like-minded people to join me. So that kind of answers your second question too. How did I get people to work with me? I find people who want to do what I want to do. So instead of just saying, will you take me to XYZ, I say, hey, what are you doing next week and what do you have to do? And we combine it with something I'm doing. So I try to make everything a win-win for everybody. And maybe that's my philosophy.
So Robin is watching, and Kathy Cook just said hi, and Kathy's talking about hypnosis, how it helped her through cancer treatment. I know that Howie's going to talk about that too, and Amy's here. Everybody's here. So I want to, so welcome everybody. I'm so glad you're listening to this incredible story and you're here. So I find, so it's so fascinating, Howie. So I just remember driving your Jeep, right? And we're driving to Chicago for some reason, and you can't see, like the street signs and streets, but you're like, okay, it's about, 100 yards down, that street. So it was like you have a whole entire map in your mind of Chicago. That's so so whatever that is, spatial intelligence, whatever that is, your intuition, you woke up. I love that you recognize that because people were giving to you, you wanted to give to the world, and giving to the world brought all these people into your world that needed you and you needed them, and you created this win-win situation. And that's what you call magic. Isn't that what you meant by that?
Yeah, I do. And back to your hypnosis, I did use hypnosis as a tool. Luckily, in 1974, this is again before my illness, I met Dr. John Knapp, a medical doctor who was experimenting with hypnosis and was getting what he said was equal results to his medicine. And we became friends. I made a video for him. And then he said, take my course. So I took a 10-week course. And the reason that I did it is I had a sciatic nerve pain down my right leg. And it had been bothering me for months. And when I said to him, hey, I think I need to see a doctor and get x-rays, he said, you probably don't, but I'll let you satisfy that. So get your x-ray and you'll see there's nothing there. Did the x-ray. He said, I told you. He said, now try mine. 10 weeks later, sciatic was gone forever. Now, during my illness, when I was out of my body, I would come back to it occasionally for certain people. But one thing I did is I asked for John Knapp's tapes. And I had the nurses play them for me as much as they could stand hearing them. And I played them, hopefully they played them all month long. And I listened to those in my out-of-body, in-body, trance state, whatever. And maybe that helped too. So hypnosis was good for me.
Yeah. Oh, Howie, thank you for sharing that. And I want to say hello to Rob from Florida and Lori, hi from Indiana. And I have a client that I didn't do this, but she had surgery on her ankle just listening to a hypnosis audio recording, no pain. But then she said the only thing you have to do is keep playing this audio recording during the surgery, and they forgot, and then their pain went through the roof. But then they played it, and she got back. I mean, the mind is a powerful thing, and that's the whole thing. Sometimes we don't even tune in to what actually helped you, Howie. You left your body, which actually probably helped you let your body heal instead of being in worry. And then listening to those recordings helped you visualize and materialize what you wanted instead of what you afraid of the direction you're going. And some of the people listening have been hypnotized by me and had those exact experiences and make change. So all right. So what?
Another good one. Here's a good one. After the illness, I went back to John Knapp and said, I thought I was going to prevent all this, because I'm relaxed now and I know how to do that. And he looked at my records and he said, I'm looking at the interview that I did in the beginning when I first met you. And it's a curious thing. You said life's not worth living past 30. And I was in my early 20s when I first met him. And then he said, how old were you when you had this death experience? I said, 30. He said, you better think about that. So it's like I almost created my own, well, life isn't worth living past 30, so why would I even create that? Now, we program me for 100 plus, and if anyone ever asks me how long you're going to live, I say over 100. No reason not to. So I believe that I can program that. I believe that my intention will get that for me.
And you do things like you eat really healthy, you do green drinks, you do a lot of things to ensure that success.
I flipped to the other side. So what used to be like, I'm not eating that, suddenly is, why should I eat that? And of course, I'm an interviewer. So I started out as director, became a producer director, became a producer director journalist, and then added interviewing. And I'm interviewing some of the top people in the world because I could pick up the phone when I had a radio show called Deepak Chopra, called Timothy Leary. Anyone I ever wanted to talk to, I could talk to because I had an entity. I had a radio show or a TV show, even if you have public access. Now, here we are on Facebook Live.
Oh, he froze again. Hang in there, folks. He'll be back. This is what happens sometimes when you get, okay, you're back. We didn't hear anything.
I got too excited. I flipped out the energy.
It happens a lot on my show. So, okay. So you're talking about Facebook Live and.
So this is the new communication tool. I had to work with a 2 million watt transmitter on top of the John Hancock building to put underground news out. When I did Earth Network, I worked with WGBO, and they had a 4 million watt transmitter on Sears Tower. Now, we don't need that. I don't have to pay anybody or convince anybody, just like you don't. You have your own television show. Everyone has their own television show. And it doesn't have to just be on Facebook. It could be on your own channel, YouTube, etc. So that's pretty much of what I dedicated my life to is I'm staying with this. I never left television. I never left my dream of letting us all have an opportunity to communicate with each other. And hypnosis is a part of it because what I learned about it is it's selective concentration. So when I put my energy to something and I don't give it a chance to not work, and that's like, and I'm aiming at it, even if I don't hit that target along the way, everything else is happening. I'm getting support. I'm getting truth. I'm getting reality checks. I'm even hitting some dead ends. It all ends up focusing more toward my goal. So I tried to bring back underground news through the networks. So I made a deal with Hollywood last year. They wanted to take my great ideas and turn them into something I didn't want. So I got out of that. And another lesson learned. So now I'm going to reboot all my dreams, all my ideas into one focused energy of a reboot of underground news on the internet. And that's my current project. It's undergroundnews.tv.
That's awesome, Howie. And what is your vision for quote? I mean, people don't even know you've been blind. You could see, and we're going to go into that in a second. But what is your vision? Because obviously you have a lot of vision, even though you can't see with your eyes. You are a visionary, which is a interesting thing to say to someone who can't see with the physical eyes. But that may have been also what enhanced your ability to be a visionary. So what is your vision for underground news on the internet, on your website?
Well, we were always the alternative truth. So mainstream would not let people like me or Chuck Collins or Jane Fonda talk freely, or even John Lennon talk freely, or any of them talk freely. So they came to us because we didn't hassle them and we gave them uncensored access to our airwaves. And people loved it. So people voluntarily joined us where they wouldn't go on mainstream television. And when I did Earth Network television show, it wasn't just me. It was a group of volunteers. We set up a 501c3 not-for-profit. And there were about 40 people who volunteered during the 90s, including you. And everyone, either they came on the show or they brought somebody to be on the show. And everyone contributed. And it was an amazing collective. Well, now it's so easy because you don't have to bring someone into your basement and put them in a chair opposite you. Now you do this. This is a laptop MacBook Pro that we're using here. I'm not even wearing a microphone. That's very unusual for me. And here we are, just this simple interview that could be worldwide. It could be multinational. It could be anything you want it to be. And more people can join this. So I'm using the technology, I'm using the volunteer idea, and I'm inviting people to use my website to share their truth, to express themselves. Now, of course, there's YouTube. People can go on YouTube all day long, but it's scattered. And Facebook, it's scattered. So we need our own place. CNN, MSNBC, Fox, very clear distinction with those three networks. Where's ours? Where's our truth? All we're hearing is a lot of noise from the president and Congress and the pundits and the talk show guys on Fox and the talk show people on the other channels. They're not talking about what we need to know. They're just talking about their whole world, which isn't our world. It affects us greatly, but it's not us. We need to talk to each other. We need to share each other's stories and tell each other's truth. We need our own news network, our own truth network. So I've developed it where anyone can just upload videos from their phone or their laptop or do it, just say something. But the idea is to give us news, to give us commentary, to give us features. Once they upload it to us, our editors will take it and put it into context. So I'm not asking for completed pieces. I'm asking just for the raw data, the raw news, the raw information. What's happening in your neighborhood, in your life, in your profession, to your gender, to every issue there is.
Okay, wow. You guys, if you're listening to this right now, send some of those bubbles across the screen, the love button, the share. Let us know you're here too. Whether you're listening live or to the recording, just say hello, send some of the bubbles. And if you have questions, ask questions. This is a great opportunity for you to ask questions from a visionary who has been through a lot. And I would love for you to share some things, but I want to get a little bit more dialed in. Howie, if you could come up with the top 5 resources that would describe you, and maybe it's 4, but and you may have already said them, you're creative, determination. What is it that helped you get out of victimhood and just continue to be a videographer who can't see and produce television and always stay in that field? I know it's because you knew it already, but nevertheless, what would be like 5 qualities that if I were to work with someone personally, I would want to enhance in them and reinforce and awaken in them that you have heard other people say about you or you see in you?
Well, I'm pretty stubborn. That helps. It's like it's hard to get me off of where I'm headed. It's an attitude of a shared life. I can't do anything alone. None of us can really do anything alone. So it's a tough question for me to answer because listing 5 things, tricky. Guide me through some of this because this is not my easy thing to do.
Well, stubborn, that's part of perhaps why my mother's still alive. She's 88 years old. Stubborn, there's a tenacity would probably be the more positive word for it. So you're tenacious. You have a desire and passion to leave a legacy, to do something for the planet, so that's how I would describe you. And you are very patient. Of course, you are a Cancer and a nurturer. You're very patient. But what do you do when these things, you hold true to your values because, you said no to Hollywood because they were going to take over or do something that, you didn't want, wasn't your vision, basically, which is just cracking me up that I keep using that word right now.
This vision was a childhood daydream. I was a dreamer. Okay, so I daydreamed, and I daydreamed about communication because that's what was going on in the 50s and 60s. And I watched a whole lot of television like all of us did, and I was very critical. So being critical is important too. That's another aspect of it. Knowing when you're being lied to, knowing when you're being conned. I remember the first time I was a little kid and someone cheated me in a deal, and I got cheated and I traded something good for something bad that didn't even work. And just how horrible that felt. So I never liked the idea of unfair practices and unfair treatment. So I stuck with this idea of making things righteous, that everything had to be balanced and fair. And then I also noticed that there were these great people in the world, in my neighborhood, people that I knew, people that I ran into that had incredible stories, and then nobody really cared to ask them their stories. But if you did ask them, they came out with all this amazing stuff. So I always kept this in mind. And certain TV shows planted stuff in me. One weird one was Playboy After Dark, where instead of a TV studio, it was Hefner's apartment, where he had cool people just hanging around drinking and having conversations, and the camera just weaved in and out of these conversations. Now, of course, it was very phony and contrived, but suddenly it's like, wait a minute, you don't have to be in a studio. You could be in the world. And it was casual. So by the time I got to do my underground news show, I said, no, this is casual. This is stripped down. So the crew were all freaks, you know, in terms of long hair and the hippie lifestyle. And the guests were all comfortable and they fit into it too. So my whole life has been geared towards telling the truth and helping other people tell the truth. So it's a common thread throughout my whole life of I'm headed for something and I have a purpose. When these challenges came, I go like, well, this can't be to stop my purpose. It just means it's just another obstacle, because producing a television show is an obstacle to begin with. Getting on the air is an obstacle. Getting sponsors is an obstacle. And not getting wiped out by the FBI is another obstacle. So you get through all that and everything gets easier. And now I'm 71 years old. Everything's easy now. So when it comes to people helping me and stuff, I'm the visionary and I'm now accepting it. So yeah, it bugs me that I can't go and tweak the stuff and I can't edit the stuff. And I've got 1,000 hours of videos all around this room that I've shot over, the 50 years.
And he froze. And while he's frozen, so how can you turn obstacles into opportunities? Think about that. How can you turn an obstacle into opportunities just the way Howie did? His mind already works like that. It already looks at obstacles as opportunities and just keeps. I think, Howie, you're back, right?
I'm back.
I think you also have courage, a lot of courage. Would you agree?
Well, once you've been investigated by the FBI and once the Chicago police are after you for just telling the truth, you get a thicker skin. So I don't know, nothing really bothers me anymore. Why would it? I feel protected by spirit. I feel like I have a purpose. My purpose is to bring all you guys together into this idea of truth telling, of expressing yourselves. So I feel protected, and I feel there's enough of us out there that even though there's crisis all over our world and the environment, which we can talk about, but the environmental crisis, it's within us. And each of us has to make a personal decision that it's worth staying here for. It's worth surviving, that this planet is worth keeping and passing on to our children and their children. We have to decide that. It doesn't come naturally. I got to decide it because it was a life and death thing. What am I going to do? I'm going to get through this world. I can't do it alone. So I bring in companions and allies and everyone who thinks like I do and feels like I do. And it's working because here I am doing it and you're still turned on by it, and we'll see who else is turned on by it. I have a crew and I have a staff and I have technicians and I have equipment, and somehow the money shows up. That's the other part of the miracle. When you're doing what you're supposed to do, the money shows up, the people show up, and you just have to say yes. I say yes a lot now.
Yes. Okay. First, I want to say hi to Liguora Utterback. She says, love your light. Welcome to the show. And there's a key common thing here that you've been saying, and it's purpose. You have a purpose. You have a purpose. You know what your purpose is. And that has been driving everything because you have a purpose. We've all heard that purpose is crucial, that we all need to feel like we are needed or have a purpose. And I think that's a big driver for you and for every human being. And I love that connection. So you are forced, quote unquote, to have to work with other people on another level, not just technically, but emotionally, and that makes it more of a community, and everybody's working together for a common goal and a common cause. And then one thing I want to say is that what I heard over the weekend at the conference I was at, it said, do what you love, like you just said, but love what you do. So put love into everything that you do. And you do that, Howie. You put love into everything that you do. So I want to honor that. And then Robin says, Shout out to Brady.
My technician today.
It's on the air. Yes, Brady, that's what it takes. It takes a village. So it's true, Robin. Thanks for saying that too. And so yeah, anything you want to share about that before we get, I'm gonna do a hypnosis meditation with you guys to experience hypnosis so that you can think of your purpose, love what you do, be more courageous, and all the other things. But Howie, is there anything else you want to share right now? We'll talk again after the hypnosis meditation part, though.
Probably what people should get an idea about is what is sight, what is vision. After my illness, my corneas were impaired, so I'm looking through a dirty window, an impaired window. So everything's there, but the detail's gone. When that became so advanced that the cornea became opaque, then I had this miracle surgery that put in a plastic cornea. And I got to tell you what happened that day. So here it is in 2011, and I'm at USC in Los Angeles. And they did the surgery, and I'm all bandaged up. And
but wait,
the next
you
day,
have not been able to see in how many years?
At that point, like 36 years.
Okay.
Meaning not see everything at once, and not see detail, not see clear. So the next day, I'm in actually Beverly Hills in the surgeon's office, a woman, and she takes off the bandages, and the first thing I see, of course, is her face, and that's astounding. And next, I step out onto Wilshire Boulevard, and there's this world going on that I forgot about. It blew me away.
Oh, whenever Howie gets excited, it freezes. Come on back, Howie. We want to hear the end of the story. Okay, you're back. So go to the
first thing I tell you is you have a lot of words in your world. I couldn't believe how many words there were in the environment because I was compelled to read every word I saw. There are words on cars, trucks, buildings, signs, non-stop words. How do people do it? I mean, I went to a grocery store and I saw every item on every shelf and every bottle, and I could not stop reading because I hadn't been able to read, everything at once. And color blew me away. I hadn't seen color since I was a child like that, because you also get all your color back when you have your cataract lens removed too. So I'm in this amazing world full of color, full of detail, with edges on things, with detail. But I'll tell you the best part, people's expressions. I have been missing for all those years expressions. There's so much going on with somebody's face that you don't get with words, you don't always get with touch, but the expressions are priceless. And I was now part of the conversation visually. So I wasn't even realizing that people across the table at a dinner table were looking at me for like, what do you think of that? Because it's just a glance. And now suddenly they're looking at me when they're talking, and then I answer. Previously, I had to wait till hear a cue to come in to get into a conversation. So it's interesting about inclusion. So that was a miracle of seeing detail. And now I have advanced glaucoma, and my vision is down to a spotlight in the middle, and contrast is really, really weak. So I do see light. I don't see black. My black is now upper gray. So I see from gray to white, which makes things kind of ghost-like and tricky, but it's enough to navigate. It's enough to feel like I still see. And I can still read detail on my computer when I zoom in. I can still see a lot of television. I can see the editing, I can see the directing, but I might not see the face and the detail of that, not at all. But it's quite a lesson, and I'm still learning from it. I don't know where it's going to go. I'm expecting one more miracle, stem cells, rebuild my optic nerve, and give it all back to me, and I'll have it all. That's the next event.
And you put that in your purpose too? I know you want to save the planet, but what about, attracting that thing that's going to, maybe even this show can bring some positives for you personally.
It's all positive now. I'm on a roll because I'm getting support, because the world is ready for this. The environmental crisis has got us all edgy. You know, we all thought life was forever and our kids would have a forever. Now we know it's in peril. And the more we know, the more we realize that we have to do something. But we do feel frozen. We do feel paralyzed. We do feel powerless. We're not. And the first thing we have is a voice. And now we have the tools. So this is the moment, even though we're very advanced in our crisis of global destruction, we're also very advanced in our technology. And I'm talking about the communication technology. We have access to each other we've never had before. We can group together like we've never imagined before. We have a movement just by announcing we're here. So hopefully we'll all center on a place like my website or any place where we can all say, hey, we're here, we're not going away, and this is going to change because we're going to do it.
All right. So I do have to say that I'm going to hypnotize all of you. So stop what you're doing if you are multitasking, because this is a closed eye process, no driving or anything like that. And I'm going to awaken a little bit of something inside you. It'll just be for a few minutes. I'm going to take you down a set of stairs to what I call your peaceful place or your superpowers place. So a place where you're relaxed. And remember, hypnosis is a great way for you to actually literally relax so deeply that your body feels better, your immune system improves, and you can start to visualize and materialize on an internal level that it can be expressed externally and have your own vision, just like Howie, and voice. So let's do that. Oh my gosh, if I'm going to freeze now too. Hopefully not. So, all right, you guys, if you're doing anything, now's the time to stop what you're doing, sit down or lay down, and go ahead and close your eyes. And take a deep breath in. Fill up your belly and hold your breath in for as long as you comfortably can. And look up above your eyebrows, connecting with your higher self and your intuition. And when you lower your eyeballs, breathe out, tell yourself relax, and picture a healing sound wave flowing through you from the top of your head to the tips of your toes. And we're going to do that again. Another deep breath in, holding it in. Look up above your eyebrows, connecting with your higher self and your intuition. And then lower your eyeballs. Tell yourself relax. Picture, hear, and feel a healing sound wave flowing through you from the top of your head to the tips of your toes. And picture yourself at the top of a set of stairs that leads you down to a place you can call your peaceful place or your superpowers place, where you'll be 10 times more relaxed, 10 times more focused, on top of a mountain, by a waterfall. Inside, outside, it's your creative mind. It's your place to go where you can feel great and believe in yourself again. So notice what your stairs are made of and sense that place there down below, whether it's at the beach or some other place. And I'm going to count backwards actually from 5 down to 1, and just allow every number you hear me say and every step you go down, just imagine what it would be like, what it would feel like to double your relaxation. Begin to feel the warmth of the radiant sun and imagine yourself taking a step down from 5 down to 4. Double that relaxation and let go even more. See and hear and feel yourself relax. As you step down now from 4 down to 3, just allow yourself to drift down deeper and deeper to a place inside you where things change, where things heal, where insight lives. So let 3 melt into 2 as you step down. Begin to feel like you're melting right there into the chair. You're almost there. You're almost at your superpowers place, where you are so comfortable, so relaxed, and so at ease. So with the final count of 1, step down now and arrive and immerse yourself in your peaceful place. Become aware of what the ground or floor is made of. Plants that are there, beautiful colored wildflowers, tall, majestic trees, mosses. And if there's animals, become aware of them now, welcoming you and greeting you as you hear their sounds. There's definitely a place there for you to sit or lay or float and get even more comfortable, more relaxed, and more at ease. If there's water, see its beauty and hear its sounds now. And just allow my voice to comfort you and relax you. And begin to feel like you're melting right there into the chair in that sacred space in your peaceful place. And as you do that, you allow any sounds you hear to relax you deeper and allow my voice, your very breath, to relax you deeper. We're going to focus your breath on your heart right now so we can awaken your heart's intelligence and you can feel loved, loving, and lovable, or joy or gratitude. Right now, focus your breathing on your heart. This will awaken your heart's intelligence, and you just focus your breathing. So as if you're breathing in and out through your heart. Next breath in, imagine you're breathing in through your heart, and as you breathe out, imagine you're breathing out through your heart. Keep doing this, breathing in and out. And in a moment, invite your heart to open, and then see and hear and feel it opening. Maybe like a rosebud opening into magnificent purple rose, or like a door opening, tunnel flowing, or vortex spinning. And then imagine you're breathing in love, unconditional love, universal love. It's like a state, a vibration, an emotion, a really good feeling of love. Feel like you're breathing in love, unconditional love, universal love, breathing it in and out. So it's in you and around you. Give it that color, that sound, that feeling, even a symbol. And to amplify a feeling of love, it could be joy or appreciation. You're going to go back to a memory to connect with that feeling of love. A memory where you felt very loved. Maybe you felt very loving, or maybe you felt both. And it could have been petting an animal. It could have been many years ago or yesterday. This activates your calming nervous system and balances your systems and can help you reconnect with your true self. So continue to breathe in and out as if you're breathing in and out through your heart. Now I'm going to count backwards from 3 to 1. Just allow each number to relax you and deepen you and take you back in time to that wonderful, wonderful memory. When I snap my fingers, be in the memory, replaying it and experiencing it with all of your senses. So with the count of 3, time travel back in time to a wonderful memory. 2, you are almost in that memory, time traveling, trusting your impressions. 1, be in the memory now. See the details, hear the sounds, feel the feelings. Rewind it or replay it. Make it even bigger and brighter. Feel the love, the unconditional love, the universal love. If you're holding someone, feel that. Being held, feel that. Hear the sounds. Connect with that state of love and recognize and realize that this is the real you. Love. And that you have what it takes, just like Howie has what it takes. Inside you, you have music. Inside you, you have a purpose. You have a dream. And you can, right now, from this moment forward, recognize and realize that you have many gifts, many resources, and that you can allow yourself to learn from your past experiences and create those dreams. You are courageous and you have a voice. You have music to share with the world. Discover inside you, just allow yourself to become aware of that passion, to break through anything that's in your way. Have that tenacity, that energy, where you have your back, where you believe in you, where you trust on such a deep level that you bring into your life exactly what you want. When you have a great feeling, like love or joy or appreciation, you can visualize and materialize so much easier. You can bring in what you want. So state a clear intention of something you want. Maybe it is to have more purpose. Maybe it is to have more tenacity. Maybe it is to believe in yourself. Maybe it is to help the planet or share your voice on Howie's TV. So as you set an intention, relive that feeling of love. Loved, loving, and lovable, and recognize and realize you are loved, loving, and lovable. You truly are. And then visualize it as if it already exists, your intention, how you show up in the world with a voice, how you show up with passion, how you show up with purpose, tenacity, where you have your back. Who are you? What do you do? What do you sound like? What do you feel like? Visualize it. Imagine it. Make it up. Be creative. Be courageous. And then discover 1, 2, or 3 things you're going to do after the show today to step into that power, to step into your power, to get these results. Maybe you stop self-criticism. Maybe you call a friend. You have what it takes. Believe in yourself. Visualize and materialize what you want with a great feeling. Vividly imagine the end result as if it already exists, and vividly imagine yourself doing those 1, 2, or 3 things to achieve it. Good. Very good. Now, in a moment, I'm going to count from 1 to 3. I'm going to snap my fingers. You're going to be back in the present. It's a new way of thinking, lighter, freer. You'll have a better night's sleep and you'll believe in yourself more. Starting right now with the count of 1, take a big, deep energy breath in. 2, speeding up into the present with a lot of confidence, energy, and peace. 3, open those eyes, feeling energized. Hi, everybody. Welcome back.
I'm back.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
You're welcome. You guys, we're going to end the show in just a few moments, but share how that made you feel, please, whether you're listening live or to the recording, and come back and let us know what your purpose is, your intentions are, and how you're going to share your voice and overcome anything that's in your way. So, okay, you guys, if you want to learn more from Howie, if you want to express yourself with what's going on in the world and share your voice, whether on videos or other things, Howie, how can people reach out to you, and what's the website, and how do they be able to share their voice with you?
The website is undergroundnews.tv. Okay, TV stands for television. And on the site, there's a button called Reporter Upload. And that's kind of a universal access to us. So you could take a video you just shot on your phone, and you could just drag it in and upload it right to us. Send us a little email on the link and tell us the context of what you've done. You could send a story that you've written. You can tell a story. You can send us an idea.
And of course, he got frozen again. He'll be back in just a moment, hopefully. Yeah, you're back. Okay, so send a story.
Everything you've got, anything that you want to share. So we're talking about things that are important for all of us and yourself. So it could be, really, I wish I, as a kid, had a place to develop my directing techniques, producing techniques, writing techniques. So I'm really giving this opportunity to people that were like me when they grew up in Rogers Park in Chicago, and they wanted to say stuff, and it's really too embarrassing to do it in your local little neighborhood. But here's a way to be even anonymous if you need to be. Also, whistleblowers. Lots of whistleblowers out there. I busted Waste Management for not recycling because of whistleblowers. And there's a lot of other stories out there that need to be exposed. You guys have the information. You guys are living it. Upload it to us any way you want. Photographs with stories on it. And we'll do the editing. We'll do the work on it with you. We may send you out to record some more, to get some more context. Our editors will work with you. You don't have to finish the thing. You don't have to make a documentary. Together, we will make a documentary. We'll put out a subject. You'll all contribute to it. Our editor, like Neil Gold is our editor now, he will edit this together and we'll put it out as a documentary. So it's not like YouTube. We don't put everything on. We're curators. We select the best. We work with you, and we help you become a journalist.
Nice. So people can message you on Facebook, right?
Yes, or on the undergroundnews.tv site, there's a Howie at undergroundnews.tv. You can get me there too.
That's email?
Any way you want. Yeah, that's the email. That's up there. Or you can use Facebook or ask the FBI. They'll give you my phone number.
All right, you guys. So I encourage you, if you know people, to let them know, go check out Howie's site, because it sounds like a great platform to start doing some positive things and more positive things. And if you know that you're stuck, or you're trying to figure out your purpose or vision, or what you want to get from where you are to where you want to be, hypnosis is a great tool. And a lot of times we need a hypno coach, and that's what I would call myself. So a lot of people do need help getting from where they are to where they want to be. Howie needed help. He reached out, and he continues to do that. And I encourage you to do that. And I always offer, I think what I'll do is, if you give me your email, I will email an audio recording for healing your body, So let me know. You got to give me your email, and I'll send you an email called Healing Your Body, and that'll just be a complimentary thing. But I always offer a $50 savings if you want to work with me privately. So I encourage everybody, because I believe everybody needs it. And next week actually is going to be on forgiveness. I think I'm going to do it at the end of the day, because I'm going to go to this event in the middle of the day. But forgiveness is, so it's just going to be me presenting, and I'm going to hypnotize you guys. I did this at a conference, the Heartland Hypnosis Conference. People had amazing healing, so I'll probably maybe interview them a little bit. But I encourage you to come to the show, share this, spread the word, because forgiveness to me is the ultimate healing tool. So Randy Light, do you want to say anything to everyone, Howie?
I love you.
Love you too. And I love you all. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next Tuesday. Bye-bye.